Well, here we go with Vault 11. Follow along. I'm kind of excited to share this story. So Vault 11 had a social experiment where inhabitants were told that they had to sacrifice one vault dweller annually or they would all be killed. All right?
Jeez.
So that's kind of the premise of this. So when the vault doors were sealed and all the inhabitants learned about this, obviously they freaked out. The first overseer knew about this. I guess he was informed ahead of time of the vault door sealing. So the doors seal. Everybody else is informed. They all freak out. And so for the first sacrifice, they actually kill the first overseer because they're like, you knew about this and you didn't say anything, you know. So then the vault door shut. So they kill that guy, right? The overseer.
Damn.
So
that's probably appropriate.
Yeah. You know, I think there's no right decision there. So if we have to start somewhere, then let's start with the fucking guy that got us into all this.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. So basically from there, the tradition of sacrificing the overseer would continue over time. So everybody's having to pick one guy to kill or they're all going to be killed. And so everybody's like, we're going to kill whoever the overseer is. Well, how are we going to decide who the overseer is? We're going to vote. So they put in this this thing where each year the vault would elect who the next overseer was. And so they got to be overseer for a year, and then they were killed, right? So it's the ultimate yay boo, right? Like, you're overseer, whatever you say goes, but you know that your time is ticking, and it's totally out of your hands. You know, whether you get voted on or not. So ultimate yay boo.
I love the term yay boo. I know it's kind of a deviation. You've said that 3 or 4 times, and I always just let it like gloss over. Yay boo got to be one of my favorite Codyisms.
Yay boo is great. Yay boo and
interstitial.
Interstitial. That's what I was looking for.
Yay boo interstitials. So the show, in a way, kind of, because the last episode of the show is fresh in my mind again, they do have that moment where they have all of the industry kind of big heads in that room, and they're going around and they're saying, like, you can basically like dictate what the rules are for your vault.
Yes.
And it can be anything from like, we'll separate the children and the parents. We will have every year we're gonna have to like kill some of the vault dwellers or something. So like the Vault 11, we have to have a sacrifice, and it's gonna be the overseer.
Man.
That absolutely, like, I'd be interested to see how that affects the player character.
Right.
In that, like, do you come down and they try to make you the overseer, and then subsequently try to sacrifice you or whatever?
Well, the story keeps going. We're not at the end yet, but from what I gathered, I think this is just kind of a vault that you can stumble upon in New Vegas and kind of piece all of this together. So I don't think I should say, none of this is spoiling New Vegas if you haven't played it. These are just vaults, I think, in that world that you could go read all the letters and hack the terminal and kind of piece all this together. But this isn't necessarily the player's experience for that game. But that is true. When I was listening to all these different stories, each vault kind of had their own, like, here was the experiment, you know, going on in this vault. So, yeah, I think this is just one you can stumble upon. So, basically, each year they elect somebody, you become the overseer, then you get killed at the end. So this divided the vault into a bunch of different voting parties known as voting blocks, right? So this starts to form groups of people that are getting together and trying to decide who they want to put up next, essentially, you know, who they want to kill next.
Right.
So each year they would create voting guides for who they wanted to see as overseer, essentially who they wanted to see dead. Over time, the vault experienced a power struggle. So obviously, as these different groups are forming, others are trying to kind of overtake the other groups. As the parties gained more power over the years, they became more and more corrupt, which this is kind of where the first fucked part happens in this story. One of the voting blocks sexually coerced a woman named Catherine Stone to save her husband from being voted overseer, right? So there's voting parties, they're gaining power, And now they're kind of using people like, hey, give me this, or we're going to vote your husband to be overseer, essentially killing him, right?
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. So that happens.
Jeez.
She gives in to save her husband. And after that happens, they betray her and vote her husband in anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. So
this is a side quest
dude,
in a game.
It's crazy. So she does this thing, which is terrible, but it's, in the name of saving her husband, they betray her. So after she finds out that she did that and they still voted for her husband, she goes on this rage. She goes on this killing spree and murders a bunch of members of the Justice Block one by one, who was the block that extorted her, right?
Right.
Now, once people discover this murder, this killing spree that she's gone on, she's voted as the next overseer. So essentially, she's going to be killed. As her first act of overseer, she bans the voting, allowing people to vote who the overseer is. And she suggests that it could just be randomly chosen by a computer instead. So instead of everybody choosing who gets to vote, let's just put it in this random computer. And at that point, there's no more parties, no more power. It'll just be totally random, and it just kind of falls the way that it falls. The remaining members of the... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so is the... they have to sacrifice someone. Is it such that, if they don't kill someone, the vault kills them?
Pretty much.
The vault isn't... Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Like the AI computer that's in there, told them, look, here's what's going on. You got to sacrifice or we're going to kill you. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if it was some kind of arbitrary religious thing that kept them doing this, or
no, it was
if they just
So when they went in the vault, basically the computer, because each vault has their AI computer system or whatever. So the AI system told them,
right?
So it's whatever, the overlords telling them to do this, the vault people telling them to do this.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Okay. So so after she votes away to do with the voting, we're just going to do it with the computer. The remaining members of the Justice Block, fearful of losing their power, staged an armed coup to take the power back from her and enforce the voting again. This turned into a massacre and left only 5 vault dwellers alive afterwards. So
damn,
they get worried that they're going to lose their power. A big massacre happens, and now there's only 5 people left in the vault. Now, the remaining 5 were tired of the violence and mutually decided to end the killing. No more. We've done enough. This ends here.
Good on them.
They confronted
I've got a feeling this doesn't go well.
They confronted the computer, telling it they refused to sacrifice anybody else. They were met with an automated message congratulating them for breaking the cycle and not murdering anybody else, revealing that the whole experiment was a ruse.
Damn.
The whole thing was a ruse. Now, the computer then unlocked the main entrance, allowing the dwellers to leave on their own free will. Shocked and horrified with what they had done, 4 of the 5 dwellers voted to end their own lives to make up for what they had done for the last 15 years. Once again, they were not unanimous, and one of them wanted to spread the news across the wasteland so others could learn from their mistake. Last line here. 4 people ended up taking their own lives, and the final vault dweller presumably left the vault never to be seen again.
Damn.
There's somebody out there that went through all that in Vault 11 and is
Vault 11
essentially still alive somewhere.
That alone high-key makes me want to play the game now.
Dude, how crazy is that story?
I want to get up from my seat right now and go download it. I'm not going to do that, but absolutely, that is kind of riveting only because it comes from a game and it's a side quest. It's just not the main focus, I'm guessing.
I feel like that premise could have been made outside the Fallout world into an entire
could be a
movie
whole
or
movie.
show. Yeah, dude,
a whole movie.
The twist and the intertwining of different things. It's crazy, man. When they were explaining it on the video, it's like, No fucking way, man. I thought that was so crazy.
I like that. I like that a lot.